So the big game this weekend, Tim, of course, was one of your former clubs, Manchester United, travelling to Anfield, finished 0-0. A lot of expectation, a lot of talk from people like us that it was going to be a very difficult, maybe embarrassing day for Manchester United. But it wasn't, Tim. Finished 0-0. What was the biggest reason it finished 0-0, do you think?
Well, this one surprised me, Mustoe, because normally certain moments you can think big games teams will cancel each other out. I didn't see that happening today. I really didn't. I thought 100% sure United were going to lose because there were injuries and suspensions and they weren't playing well and there were no partnerships and obviously Liverpool were going really well at the top of the table. So I thought today's a day where they're definitely going to turn United over. And look, ultimately, and we talked about this on the show, United played really, really, really well for what they were.
For what they were.
They were a shell of themselves. I think credit goes to Ten Hag for saying, look, I'm going to start Marcus Rashford on the bench. I'm going to go with Garnacho and Anthony. And by the way, I've said before, as the Man United manager, I don't really want my wingers coming back to help today. They need to come back. They need to help. They need to do the defensive work. And they defended stoutly and resolutely, and they got a result. And by the way, going into the game, 0-0 result, really good for them, and that's what they got. Yeah,
it's interesting in Manchester United because you can look at it as if like, well, Man United usually go there to try and win. It doesn't feel good that they've got to go there, and I don't think it was part of the bus type of situation, but it was definitely a very compact, very defensive side of things, which I thought was pretty good. I mean, I thought special mentions got to go to Rafael Varane. Tim, I thought was in the way many, many times. Johnny Evans seemed to do a very good job as well. I thought Amrabat, who's had quite a bit of stick really for not having that much of an impact at the football club, I thought he was in good spots many times. I thought Diogo Dalot actually until the end, maybe we'll chat about that in a second, 2 yellow cards, but I thought he played well as well. So is this a step in the right direction, or is it, well, that's minimum really for Man United?
Look, I think it's a step, Mustoe. I don't know which direction it is. I don't know if they have a direction currently. I just don't. The players that you mentioned, you know, you talk about Johnny Evans and Dalot, Amrabat. Obviously, Varane in his day has been world class, but they were asked to battle today. They were asked to fight.
They're almost more happier to do that.
Yeah, and to stay compact and not to open themselves up. And they did it valiantly. Credit to them. But, like, it's not as if they didn't have many match winners on the field. They didn't have enough footballers to take the ball and be brave and drive the team forward like a Bruno. So today looked exactly the way it needed to look for them to get a result.
I think Manchester United fans will be happy with that. I mean, there's a few injuries. We know Bruno being out as well, and different players that are missing. Just on that, I think we both felt the same thing here. Diogo Dalot did a brilliant bit of defending, Tim, late in the game, right near the main camera, and he's fired up. He's had a really good game. They're trying to hang on for a point or even more, and he gets a bad decision. He throws his arm once towards the referee, Michael Oliver, shows him the yellow. Well, I think he flashes his arm, he gets the yellow card. Then he walks a bit further. Then he flashes it again. No, he flashes his arm because of the decision. Then he sees a yellow card and flashes his arm again and gets another yellow card for red. I mean, what have we gone from the days of the referee saying, oh, hang on a minute, Diogo, just calm down. We're nearly at the end of the game. Is there any tolerance now for a common sense approach?
I think the problem, and the referee was who?
Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver, yeah. Michael Oliver. He's one of the. He refed me in the Premier League. He's probably the best.
Yeah.
I like him. And the common sense approach, you know, I think in those moments the emotion gets the better of all human beings, and I think the referee, it's at the end of the game, doesn't really matter, right? It'll matter moving forward.
He's got a suspension.
But I just want to see referees, because I've been stupid at times on the pitch. I just want referees to say, he's been petulant, he's thrown his arms up, book him. He does the same exact thing again. You know what? Say, oi, come here.
Yeah, exactly.
Come here.
Yeah.
I've had enough. I'm not gonna send you off. But if I can't see anymore, it takes 2 seconds. It takes 2 seconds to do that. Like, I know they're trying to stamp down on all of this stuff, and maybe that's where it came from. But there's a common sense approach that you'd like to see.
Yeah. Swinging it back to Liverpool, Tim. And I don't know whether we differ on this or not. I obviously differ from what Jurgen Klopp said afterwards, because he said it was a really good performance. On another day, one of those chances goes in. Sure. It's a comfortable, thorough victory. Given where they are in their development and what the situation Man United and the players out, etc., etc., I was disappointed. I've got to be honest with you. And I expected a lot more with their football, with the creativity, with Luis Diaz and Mo Salah. First half, I thought they'd got a bit starved of the ball. The football from Liverpool out through the back wasn't great. The midfield that we've talked about so much about being kind of bright, and Szoboszlai doing really good, and Gravenberch getting runs of games now, and Endo that struggled last weekend but started again. Am I being a bit harsh there, Tim? Like, or should we have expected more from Liverpool that can go top of the table?
Yeah, so rather than getting into specifics, I think on the day they got bogged down where Liverpool like to be on the front foot, press, counterattack, right? And then they go into your end and they counterpress you again. So they're all about that. But United said, we're not doing that. We're gonna counterattack, and then we're gonna get back into shape. And they were tough to break down, and I think they were wasteful with the ball. I mean, we saw Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's brilliant, and his passes are inch perfect. Yeah. We saw a lot of those balls today go astray from him, which is unusual. But I think with Liverpool, and it speaks to the bigger season that they're having, they're at the top of the table as of like this past week, and none of us said, "Oh, what?" We were actually surprised that they're there because none of us think that they've hit their stride yet. They haven't been perfect yet, and somehow they found a way through some good performances to get to the top of the table. But they haven't really hit their gear where you think every single game is going to be like this.
No, I agree, and I think, you know, we'll get to the other teams and title chasers. That's 2 games now I've had a really close look, because sometimes when we do our shows, games going on at the same time. You focus on one, you kind of got the other one out the corner of your eye. But the last 2 weekends, I've had a really good look at Liverpool, and I know they won last weekend, but I thought they were playing a bit better than this, and the football's a little bit free-flowing. Yeah. Defensively, they're better, Tim. You know, from last year, they had a bad run of conceding, and the right-back position was an issue. That seems to be, for the most part, a lot better, which is good news.
Yeah, definitely. 15 goals conceded, I believe. I mean, tied for best in the league. That's a starting point. For, you know, if you can not concede goals and be really good at your pressing and getting forward, and you have threats in the forward areas, I mean, that's a recipe for success. So they're well on their way. It's just they haven't quite brought it all together to be like, you know, when we look at Manchester City and the best performances, they're bringing that every week, and you're shocked when they don't. Right now, we're not quite there yet with Liverpool.
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.